Praise the Lord, everyone. This is Elder Adrian Hammond, and I was thinking about promises. And the reason why I'm thinking about promises is because many of the time that's how a person gets elected. They make a particular promise that resonates with what's going on with a particular voter, and more than likely that person will remember that promise and say, I will vote for this person because he promised or she promised this or that. And I wouldn't say it's a bad way of voting, but it is something that does you should really think carefully about this. Because if you're going to vote for someone because they promised something, you have to then make sure that if they've promised something in the past, that they fulfilled what they promised. Otherwise, the person's just trying to get your vote. Now, of course, if Jesus was running and he made a promise, I will most definitely vote for him, even if only because he keeps his promise. Now, it may take years, might take decades, might even take centuries, but that's the time frame which Jesus operates in. Of course, that's God. So therefore, if he says something, I'm going to say, okay, I'll hang my hat on it. Human beings that are not divine, so to speak, it's different. We have to be able to prove something. In fact, one of the ways or the surest way that the Bible said, or the Old Testament said, to distinguish a true prophet from a false prophet was just simply, if whatever the person said came to pass, then that's a true prophet. If it didn't come to pass, it's not a true prophet. And in most cases, the prophecies were not from far in the future, so as you have to almost live several lifetimes before it gets fulfilled. But most of them were essentially, if you do this, this will happen to you. If you do this, this will happen to you. And it was mainly said as a way of trying to warn people of what is impending. So essentially, get on the right side. And of course, those who were false prophets, what they said didn't come to pass. Now, the penalty for such a thing was to be execution. That means capital punishment. Because the reason why is because you are leading the people of God. And if you are a false prophet, then most likely you are leading them astray for whatever reason except from what God has given them. And so therefore, such a person was a danger to the congregation. And so therefore, the harsh punishment. Now, of course, nowadays, again, one of these days I'll probably talk about false prophets in the church, and there are quite a few. But in this case, I'm looking, remember, at politics and how one gauges a prophecy or a promise, whether it's kept or whether it's not. The reason why I bring this up is because a presidential candidate promised that food prices would go down, boom, on the first day. He also promised that peace would be all over the world on the first day. That once tariffs were put in, the economy would shoot like nothing has ever happened before. And this person has always pretty much said in superlatives like that, like it's never happened before. Well, one of the things I would come to realization of is that, and people will say, well, but Elder Heyman, why are you being so harsh for this particular person? Because no one can ever do this. No one, and he's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I don't expect someone to, on the first day, have peace reign all over the world. On the first day, just jack up the economy that it just goes into the stratosphere. Or that on the first day, that prices would go down precipitously. I would, because I've seen it happen, and I know that these things take time. And in many cases, there are forces beyond the capability of even the President of the United States to enforce. So when this presidential candidate makes a promise, I have to weigh it against the idea of, can they really do this? And most likely, either it's outside of their realm and it's in another country, it's in their sphere of influence, or it's something that Congress has to do, or judges have to rule on. So if someone makes a promise about doing something, think about this. Would you ever vote for someone who told the absolute truth? I mean, just told you that price is not going to go down because it deals with market forces. And if I do this, prices will go up. So all I ask you to do is work with me and be patient. And I will try to, I will try with all my heart to blunt the effects of things such as short supply or of one country that's not ours having a monopoly on a product. I will try to blunt the effects of that. I will give that person a consideration. Or I would work with the various countries who are now at war and try to mediate peace among them. I would do that. And I will always strive to be the best judge possible in order to mitigate conflicts. A person like that, I might vote for, because the person is being realistic. But when someone says, I'm going to, on my first day, I'm going to drop prices. On my first day, I am going to make sure that the conflicts in this world that I didn't start, I'm not a part of, that I will have them all finished. You've just put a huge bullseye on yourself. Because let's go through these promises. The wars have not stopped. Israel and Hamas are still fighting. Russia and Ukraine are still fighting and killing each other. And the attempts at peace that you've tried has not done anything. And for even today, which was supposed to be a summit between our president and the president of Russia, nothing happened then either, except nothing that happens going to happen immediately. And again, if you had said, I will work on this, I would say, okay, that's realistic, that's okay. But since you're not a prophet of God, I'm not going to really pay a mind when you're talking about that I'm going to, first day I'm going to do it, because it's out of your control. And lo and behold, the promise wasn't kept. I could have told you that. And again, I'm not upset at the person because that's what he's trying to do to get elected. But of all the people who are choosing candidates for the presidency, and you're now saying, well, we knew it was going to take some time, then why you kept saying that our president is going to, on the first day, do this? Because that's what many of you did. And when he didn't do it, some of you were just flat out shocked. When I could have told you that it's not going to happen that way. There may still be peace in the Middle East after all of this is over. Maybe there'll still be a peace of some kind between Russia and Ukraine. We don't know how Ukraine is going to be, whether that means that Ukraine is going to be conquered, whether Russia is going to give back its territory that it's snatched. But at least something will have happened. And in terms of prices, I kind of live off of takeout now because essentially I'm not a cook and my wife needs food. So I'm always looking for breakfast and dinner and many times lunch to make sure that she is well fed. So I go out to eat, to pick up things. I don't want to do delivery because delivery has a surcharge and that costs more money. So I essentially take out. I'm not saying that to tell you what to do, what not to do with me. Well, I'm saying that I'm looking at the prices. And I looked at the price very recently of going to Carl's Jr. and to get 2 combos, 2 of them, is almost the takeout at some of these sit-down restaurants. When traditionally the fast food would be much lower. And that's not the way anymore. Prices are rising. Now, can they go down? Of course they can. Because it's not according. Oh, but there is one thing. If any ingredient of a product is affected by a surcharge, and that ingredient is part of a desired product that we want to have, eventually the price of that product is going to rise, or the person who's making this is going to go out of business. It's not the manufacturer's fault. It's because of the surcharge, but it also adds to the higher prices. So I want you to think about that. Saints of God, I understand many of you voted because you felt that the candidate on the other side, that she represented evil. She represented chaos. She represented ungodly actions. And you put it in a framework of good versus evil. This person's good, this person's evil. And of course, you can never trust those who essentially, well, I don't want to go into that either because that ends up getting into looks and heritage and so on. And that's another story that I may talk about, but it will be controversial. Believe me, it will. But look at the person's background. Next time you guys vote, I'm not saying the person that's currently president is horrible, whatever. I leave that up to you guys. It's not for me to say. I have my opinion, but I'm not saying it to you. But look at the person's background. See how often they fulfill what they say they're going to do. Look how often that they even try to do it. Because sometimes people can't do it because there are forces that can't be done. So that's okay. But look at all these things. And only after you do this, choose your candidate. Don't choose them because of slogans, because of things that are too wild and too good to be believed, because most likely they are too good to be believed. In other words, saints of God, don't look at a person's words. Look at a person's actions. That's how it is with us. You can't, people say, don't judge me, but no, the Bible judges you because of what you've done. You've shown yourself to be evil. So what am I going to say? I can't say that you're saved and you're raping people and you are beating people over the head and you're causing all kind of trouble. What type of salvation do you got? Well, the Lord saved me, but you're not acting it. Why call me Lord, Lord, do not the things that I say? Makes sense to me. Now, I understand most politicians are outside the realm of the church. But you can still use that to judge or to choose which one you would wish to represent you, whether as president, senator, representative, governor, mayor, whatever. Just thought I'd drop that into you, make you think a little bit. And of course, if you disagree, I understand. But just watch. Before you come back at me, just watch and see what's been happening. And yes, you can say the same thing about the other party too. Yes, you can. You're absolutely right. But I'm just talking about one that we have right now. And since I just started doing these sessions, I can't comment on what the other party's doing because right now they're out of power. When the other party comes in, if they should win the election, I'll comment on them too. God bless you. Love you all in Jesus' name.